sad. Now I counting my blessings, making money every day, no matter what people say. I thank God for the blessing. Now we rising to the top, and we never gonna stop. I thank God for the blessing. I'm just counting my blessings. Just counting my blessings, my blessings, 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 my blessings.
Fair and balanced, unbiased and clear, concise and accurate. This is the DBS Evening News. Here now is your presenter with the headlines.
In the headlines, Dominica's Chief Youth Development Officer condemns the sale of alcohol to minors during the carnival season. In news from the region, St. Kitts and Nevis implements new initiative to safeguard CBI program. And internationally, US and India reach trade deal. Good evening, I am Leila Langford. Details of the news when we return.
Flow makes your next phone upgrade easy. Add postpaid to your internet plan and score a Samsung Galaxy for as low as $33 a month. It's the smartest way to an interest-free premium phone upgrade. Don't let anything stand between you and that new phone feeling. Step into your upgrade with confidence. Visit us in store and sign up today. We keep your rhythm flowing. Terms and conditions apply.
DBS News.
Welcome back. In our lead story this evening, Chief Youth Development Officer Merita Hyacinth has condemned the sale of alcohol to minors during the carnival season. Hyacinth is encouraging parents and the public to join forces to ensure that minors are protected.
The Youth Development Division wishes to express concern regarding the sale and distribution of alcohol to minors during our carnival festivities. As we celebrate, we are really calling on parents, guardians, the band leaders, responsible adults, vendors, and our shop operators, even the event organizers, and the wider public to play their part in protecting our young people. There have been growing concerns, and we see it. What have been observed is troubling. We have minors, including our young children, consuming alcohol in the bands and in public spaces. And this is something we must address together. So parents, we encourage you to ensure that when your children leave home, they leave home without alcohol, including alcohol disguised in bottles or other containers. And vendors, we remind you not to sell the alcohol to minors. And adults within the band and the events, we ask that you ensure that the alcohol is not served to or consumed by minors in these spaces. Really, Carnival is a time for enjoyment, but safety and responsibility must remain a priority. And we really ask everyone to work with us to safeguard our youth and to remember that no alcohol to minors during our Carnival festivity or at any time.
Chief Youth Development Officer Merita Hyacinth. The Dominica Social Security has recognized the contributions of two of its longest-serving employees, as well as several local employers who have supported the institution since its inception. Bernard Henry, who served for 47 years, and Janice Jacques Thomas, who contributed 46 years to the organization, were honored with tokens of appreciation during the institution's Thanksgiving Thanksgiving church service this morning. On Sunday, February 1, the Dominica Social Security celebrated its 50th anniversary.
Today, as we celebrate this 50th anniversary of the DSS, we want to acknowledge some of the employers who have been in existence for the life of the system and who even today continue to make contributions on a regular, consistent and timely basis, and by and large whose records are almost unblemished. These are but a few of the several such organizations who are deserving of this recognition, who by virtue of them having played their role, have supported the growth and development of the Social Security for these last 50 years. Exemplary Employer Award, presented to the name of the employer for consistent compliance with the requirements of the Social Security Act and regulations from 1976 to 2026, meaning they've been there throughout the life of the institution. AC Shillingford and Company Limited, Belfast Estate Limited, the Convent High School, E.H. Charles and Company Limited, the Granby Village Council, H.H. Church and Company Limited, the Astafan and Company Limited, Kent Anthony Guest House, L.A. Dupini and Company Limited, Macmillan Service Station, P.H. Williams and Company Limited, Springfield Trading 1959 Limited, Martin School, Wesley High School, the Workshop for the Blind.
Deputy Director of the Dominica Social Security, Augustus Etienne. Meantime, Acting Prime Minister Dr. Irving McIntyre says the Dominica Social Security has positively impacted the island's socio-economic sector.
Over the past 5 decades, DSS has remained steadfast in providing income replacement to workers and their families during times of sickness, maternity, employment injury, disability, old age, and death. Indeed, the theme, A Legacy of Protection, Securing the Future, aptly reflects the institution's enduring contribution to national development and social stability. Today's Thanksgiving service is truly a fitting way to mark this great milestone in the life of the institution and to acknowledge the various ways in which it has touched the lives of countless Dominicans over the years. In doing so, we cannot but continue giving praise to God for the significant impact that the DSS has had on the country's socio-economic landscape and in helping our people maintain their dignity and independence during life's journey.
Acting Prime Minister Dr. Irving McIntyre. The new president of JCI Dominica, Shanika Bogart, says unity among the youth is among her top priorities. Ms. Bogart, the president of Sixth Form Cicero Singers, who took over from Firelander, says she is elated to be at the helm of the organization.
It's a big shoe to fill in when you look at the past president that has gone for Dominica. I must say, I've learned a lot while being in JCI. I actually heard of JCI when I was invited to sing at one of the inductions for President Merita at the time. And it was indeed a pleasure. Looking at them and seeing them in their coats and all of that was really looking professional. I wanted to learn more about what JCI was about. So I dig deeper and then decided to join a couple years down the line. Now, here I am today, president of JCI Dominica. My goal for this year is to bring unity amongst the youth and to impact. My theme for this year is it only takes a spark. And that spark starts within you as an individual. And if it's one thing that you have to remember as a JC, why did I join JCI? Because that plays a big role in your life. So for this year, we're looking at rebranding because our logo has now changed. So that's one of our main focus, to let Dominicans know that we are no longer using this logo and we are now using this new logo. And also to impact the young people on the island within our communities. Let them see that there are other stuff to do in Dominica than just be on the sideline looking on, and to make a difference within your community.
President of JCI Dominica, Shanika Bogart. Businessman Sam Raphael has called for greater emphasis in Dominica on the environment. He told the Discoveries program on DBS radio last night that the protection of the environment must be a priority in a developing state. He made reference to the ongoing developments at Deboash.
I guess a number of people contacted the Prime Minister because he wouldn't have acted on, just based on the issues that I raised. I think it's a good move that he made to suspend the operation there, pending further review, pending consultation, pending, I do think also, again, I'm not criticizing, I'm just stating, I'm not here to criticize or one way or the other, but to try to be as honest as possible. I do think that the issue could have been handled better on the onset with better consultation and discussions, quite frankly, with the community. You're not going to get 100% buy-in. You never do. But I think it's easier to get some more sufficient consensus if there is more discussion and consultation beforehand. And I think that's an opportunity that we have now going forward to say lessons learned. What do we learn when something doesn't go well? Do we get frustrated and angry, or do we say, so maybe next time we'll do it a little differently? So I think we learn lessons from that. As I said earlier, the hope, he said, when he suspended it was for review, and I suspect they've been reviewing and evaluating and seeing if there were alternatives, or if it was to be done, how could it be done in a way to minimize the adverse impact on the environment.
Businessman Sam Raphael. UWP leader Dr. Thompson Fountain says a UWP government will focus heavily on agriculture, manufacturing, and youth development. Dr. Fountain told the UWP rally at Grand Fort on Sunday that he is confident that a 10-pillar program developed by the party will revive the Dominican economy.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, we are a serious party that has a plan. And we refer to this plan as the 10 pillars for shared prosperity for all Dominicans. You have heard about it. And what we'll do, a key pillar is our young people. And the 10 pillars will ensure that we retain our young people here in Dominica. We will create the jobs and the opportunities for the young people of Dominica that will allow them to remain here in Dominica and work. In our 10 pillars, we'll revive the agriculture sector. In our 10 pillars, we'll revive the manufacturing sector. We will use our water resources to create wealth for the people of Dominica. We will develop our tourism. We will restore our Calidago people. We will bring growth and prosperity to this country. That is what we are offering. We are offering, ladies and gentlemen, to put money in the pockets of the people of Dominica. La Jachesh, because we believe that you deserve more.
Leader of the UWP, Dr. Thompson Fountain. 3 newcomers and 6 former monarchs have found favor from the judges to advance to the semi-finals during the semi-finals on Saturday. 9 will now join the reigning monarch Joy to compete in the finals on Saturday, February 14th.
Saturday the 31st of January was a great night, a competitive night, a night where all Calypsonians came with their guns slinging and the patrons were not disappointed. I mean, the unfortunate thing is only 9 can go through. So the 9 chosen by the judges, Daddy Chess, The Bob, Tasha P, Nashel, Reds, Checker, Abia, JD, Caressa, will go on to the finals to meet Monarch Joy. In these finals, we have 3 newcomers, Nashel, Reds, and Abia, and we also have 6 of the 10 Calypsonians are former monarchs. So, I mean, it's going to be a battle for the finals. So people, let's keep supporting Calypso. Let's support the finals. Let's be at the Windsor Park Stadium on the 14th of February 2026 to support these 10 giants in Calypso. And yes, I'll see you either in general standing, general sitting, elevated seating, or the party VIP. Get your tickets early. You don't want to lose out.
Public Relations Officer of the Dominica Calypso Association, Peter Later. Dominica's Goodwill Ambassador Asa Bantan and French Bouillon artist Edai are among the artists and DJs set to perform at the 4th edition of Picnic Dominica this year. The event is scheduled for February 15 at the Botanic Gardens from 3 p.m. and is being held under the theme Hawaiian Fiesta. Creative Director of Best Life Experience, Neon Bricks, says this year's event will feature artists and DJs from across the region and locally.
Exciting lineups we have consist of DJs and artists locally and regionally, because we know the visitors are coming to Dominica to experience the raw culture of Dominica, the bouillon. You know, bouillon is growing worldwide, and so we have about 7 artists, to name a few. We have Asa Bantan, we have Ridge and Pudders, we have Real out of Guadeloupe, we have Edai, Les Teff. A few other artists will be coming through. We have DJs from around the region, out of Antigua, DJ Elements, DJ Spades, out of St. Vincent, we have DJ C4, out of Barbados, we have the Legacy Team. Out of St. Lucia, we have International Pro Style. And then locally, of course, we have Unstoppable DJs. We have DJ Cut and DJ Alfie. Definitely, you know, an extensive entertainment package for an amazing event experience.
Creative Director of Best Life Experience, Neon Bricks. That's the national focus, regional and international developments up next.
Flow makes your next phone upgrade easy. Add postpaid to your internet plan and score a Samsung Galaxy for as low as $33 a month. It's the smartest way to an interest-free premium phone upgrade. Don't let anything stand between you and that new phone feeling. Step into your upgrade with confidence. Visit us in store and sign up today. We keep your rhythm flowing. Terms and conditions apply.
DBS News.
In news from the region, the St. Kitts and Nevis authorities say they are implementing biometric data collection for both new Citizenship by Investment CBI program applicants and existing citizens, reinforcing a commitment to international security standards and best practices. Under the CBI program, foreign investors are granted citizenship of the Twin Island Federation. The St. Kitts and Nevis Citizenship Unit said the initiative, set to be implemented before the end of the first quarter of this year, represents a significant advancement in the country's security protocols and aligns St. Kitts and Nevis with the biometric standards maintained by leading jurisdictions. And internationally, U.S. President Donald Trump has announced that he agreed to a trade deal with India's Prime Minister, where the U.S. will lower tariffs on goods from India to 18% from 25%. Trump said India will reduce trade barriers to zero and will also stop buying Russian oil. An additional 25% tariff penalty imposed for Delhi's refusal to stop buying oil from Russia will be dropped. The announcement comes less than a week after India and the European Union announced a landmark trade deal that capped nearly 2 decades of on and off talks. That's news, the DBS Evening Sports Report. Up next with Gavin Richards.
Covering the nation and beyond. DBS Sports Report.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fenced pipe. And Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins, and bidets. PVC piping, fittings, and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
Well, good evening. I'm Gavin Richards with the DBS Evening Sports Report. Let's kick off with football news as Trevon Henry got 2 goals earlier today to lead the Fairchild Secondary School to a 4-0 win over the Portsmouth Secondary School as the Sports Division Secondary Schools Under 14 tournament continued today. Well, we saw some goals also from Eugene Dennis and Jaden Dura as the Fairchild Secondary School won that match 4-0. In the other encounter, the Dominica Grammar School, where they got the better of their arch rivals, the St. Mary's Academy, they won that game 4-0. Tylon Theophily got 2 goals as well for the Dominica Grammar School, with Philon Green and Jaden Adonis also scoring for the DGS. In some netball this afternoon, where the Portsmouth Secondary School and the Dominica State College, they secured wins without breaking a sweat as the Castlebrew Secondary School failed to show up for their respective matches. Well, let's bring you some more sports news as the Minister of State in the Ministry of Sports, Oscar George, says work on the stadium lighting project is progressing steadily despite the earlier delays. He also says the various components of the lighting towers have arrived in Dominica.
As it relates to the stadium lighting, the project is moving ahead following some unavoidable delays. As we speak, the foundations of the lighting towers have been poured, and I was advised that they require another 2 weeks to properly cure to be able to accommodate the massive width from the lighting towers, which will be about 150 feet in height. I can also confirm that the various components of the lighting towers themselves have arrived in Dominica from India, and of course the various components have to be connected and weld together for each of the poles, which will be done while the foundations are being cured. And once this is done, the electrical aspects will commence, which includes running of the respective cabling through the underground armored cables, connecting all the various control rooms, and of course the foundations and up through each respective lighting tower to the lighting fixtures themselves.
Minister George also revealed an important educational component to the project, announcing plans to engage students from the electrical class at the Dominica State College.
We have taken a decision to engage as much as possible young persons, in all aspects of the project, where they will get hands-on practical knowledge and experience in implementing and installation of these lighting towers. And of course, towards the end of that engagement, the intention is to absorb a few persons from that class to be engaged on this all-important project. And of course, this is very important because what we want to do is to ensure that we can build the required capacity needed to maintain the system for years to come.
And that's Minister of State in the Ministry of Sports, Senator Oscar George. In some more sports this evening, a long-standing issue between Cricket West Indies and former West Indies wicketkeeper Shane Dorridge has been resolved. Well, Dorridge had taken legal action against Cricket West Indies over his eligibility for selection and the non-renewal of his central playing contract following his early return from the West Indies tour of New Zealand in 2020. Well, both parties today announced that the issue has been settled. Cricket West Indies CEO Chris Darren says that the Cricket West Indies is pleased that an agreement has been reached and they've welcomed Shane Dorridge to be part of the coaching structure as he moves into further professional development, having retired from international cricket in December 2023. Both the CWI and Shane Dorridge's legal team have agreed that the terms of the settlement will remain confidential between them. Head coach of the national men's under-20 football team, Delroy Watt, says despite the loss to the senior men's national team on the weekend, he was able to take a lot of positives from that game. Well, the national under-20 team, they're preparing for the CONCACAF under-20 qualifiers, which will be held in Costa Rica later this month. They took on the senior men's team in a friendly on the weekend.
but it's an opportunity for the coaching staff to observe the deficiencies of the players, areas that we need to fine-tune going into the tournament, and that's what exactly this game was for. And we got a lot of opportunity to see areas where we need to fix on the training ground. Coaching staff took a lot of notes. We're going into the locker room now to give the players feedback, and of course going into the sessions. We just want to fine-tune these little aspects of our game to improve the players going into competition with Gavin.
What are some of the areas which really troubled you this afternoon?
All right, I think transition from defense to attack. The moment, I believe, the moment our players win the ball, I'm not sure if they're anxious to go forward and score. But with that anxiousness, the decision making in that moment where we win the ball in transition from defense to attack, not making the right decisions, the movement, the spacing, the tactical awareness. These are some of the things that we want to fine-tune going forward. Definitely transition from defense to attack, Gavin.
All right, and you have a few more weeks left to prepare. So in terms of the confidence level from the showing that you saw today against superior opposition, I think that met its objective in terms of exposure to the guys?
All right, so I believe the players have show confidence, but some of them are doing it in spurts. What we want to try to do going forward is to be more consistent in our football actions. Confidence is doing the things that you know you can do well. You understand? So in this game, I observed that some of the players, we have confidence, but we just have to be more consistent, always confident on the ball, and not do it in spurts.
And that's the head coach of the national under-20 men's football team, Delroy Watt. Meantime, interim head coach of the senior men's national football team, Kurt Hurd, says his team has to improve on being able to play at a high level for long periods of time. He says the matter will be addressed in the coming weeks.
I think very much rinse and repeat from last week. I think we could almost copy and paste the interview where we maybe started the game a little bit faster, but then I think we died out in the last moments of the game. I think the tactical awareness, the technical quality all drifted from the game. But I think overall, again, some really, really pleasing moments within the game that we'll look back, we'll clip and we'll show to the players. Lots of chances, we didn't score as many as we could have, but the guys are creating the chances, which is great. But yeah, I think the concern for me is the inability to make that last for 60, 70, 90 minutes at a minute.
Coach, obviously that's a concern. How can you address that with so little time left before the tournament?
Yeah, obviously, how we address training. The training sessions have been very intense. They've been game based, so they bring out moments of the game within training sessions that we can repeat. We'll get the transitional moments. Nothing, the game's the teacher though. We need the games. We need to play some friendly matches, competitive friendly matches that we need. So yeah, if there's anybody out there that's willing to play Dominica before we go, please do get in touch. We need the competitive games. It's as simple as that. It's the only way we'll be able to last.
Right, Coach, let's just look at some of the positives though. Ball movement, playing in transition. Impressive what you saw in the first half at least.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, even in the last moments, I was speaking to Coach Orris and we were discussing some of the stuff in the last moments of the game. It was still very, very good. It's just there's a lot more of it earlier in the game, and those transitional moments within the game we manage better earlier on than we do later.
And that's interim head coach of the senior men's national football team, Kurt Hurd. President of the Windward Islands Cricket Board, Clement Masler, has commended the Windward Islands women's team on their second place finish in the regional Super 50 Overs tournament. The Windwards ended the competition in second place with 20 points. Jamaica were crowned champions, finishing with 21 points. Well, Clement Masler says it was a good bounce back after finishing in last place in the T20 Blaze competition.
They had a torrid time at the T20 Blaze and were able to regroup and refocus and give a stronger performance within that version of the tournament. So it augured well for them, and even some of the plans we hope in the future they can execute even better, and making there's always room for improvement, and even at the board level we realize that much more effort and more strategic action has to be taken to really improve on women's cricket, and we're looking forward throughout the course of this new year to have many programs that could help, one, find the talent, and two, augment the talents that are available so that the game can be played at a higher standard. And that is not unique to the Windward Islands alone. If you look at the tournament, the average scores will be below par, and we need to see our women performing at a greater level. We can't really use the men's version as a benchmark, but however, there is a lot of room for improvement, and we are hoping that we could see a quick turnaround at the level at which the women are able to perform.
And that's President of the Windward Islands Cricket Board, Clement Maslewa. That will take us to the end of the DBS Evening Sports Report. Of course, you heard the news with Leila Langford. On behalf of the entire News and Sports Department, our links person DJ Hello Boy, I'm Gavin Richards saying good evening.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fenced pipe, and Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins, and bidets. PVC piping, fittings, and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
DBS Radio gives you top quality service over any other for live streaming of funerals. Call us today at 448-3282.
Good evening and welcome to this evening's edition of the DBS Radio Community Bulletin Board. It is the second day of February 2026. We begin with this evening's edition of the DBS Radio Death Announcements on the DBS Radio Community Bulletin Board. We announce the death of Marcellus Nicholas, better known as Colo or Colton, age 65, of Girardel. He died on Friday, January 23, 2026. He was the father of two daughters, Melissa and Stella, and one son, Al. He will also be remembered by his two sons-in-law, Jean-Élie and Kennard, and one daughter-in-law, Akira. Four grandchildren, Kenna, Grace, Alani, and Ephraim. Close relatives, Tasha and Henry. Siblings, Merle, Jacob, Lena, Teresa, Curtis, Vincia, Joyce, and Vivian. Nephews to include Tafari, Jamali, Julian, Victor, Sean, Darren, Imon, Marius, Matthias, Marvin, Dion, and Shamana. Nephews to include Glenda, Tracy, Leanne, Jamila, Natasha, Shamara, Ashma, Nelisa, Marsha, Medina, Vernell, Estelle, Nickel, and Curvel. 11 grandnieces and nephews, 10 sisters-in-law to include Naomi, Wilma, Josiane, Normaline, Laurel, Agnes, Paulina, Bernice, Junie, and Davina. 7 brothers-in-law to include Vincent, Obed, Richard, Jared, David, Desmond, and Ostel. Many close friends to include Brother Pump, Larrock, Julie, Rasnom, Cecil, Mergan, Ikasan, Leonard, Maggie, Sandy, Louisa, Jerry, Deleta, Del Sol, Chasso, Marie, Girardel, Antoine, Guy, Remy, and Brito families and the communities of Girardel and Egliston. The body of the late Marcellus Nicholas, better known as Colo or Colton, can be viewed at the First Baptist Church in Goodwill on Thursday, the 5th of February at 2:30 p.m. The funeral service begins at 3 p.m. and will be followed by interment at the Roseau Public Cemetery. We announce the death of Verdun Marie Peter, age 78, of Newtown. She died on Sunday, the 18th of January. She was the partner of Joe Charles. She was the mother of one daughter, Connie Hector Peters.